Coming up, 4 new knives from Dirk Pinkerton, 3 new knives from APOC Survival, and we go through 15 great USA-made folders. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. One of my favorite comments from this past week was from my good buddy, Carino1. And he said, Jim and Bob really enjoyed the look at the off-grid knives. And I got to just say, as a side note, I love when people mention Jim. He's the guy who makes this all happen. Anyway, might please you to know that a Tatuaje La Verite vintage 2009 was being enjoyed outside while taking in the show. I read that and I thought, oh, a nice wine. I bet my dad would know that. And looked it up, and it's actually a very fine cigar. And I should know this because Carino is the guy who sent me this outstanding and very rare now Turkish tobacco for my pipe that my dad used to smoke when he was a younger man and I was a little boy. So thanks so much, Carino. I hope that cigar, that Tatuaje La Verite, was absolutely delicious. And glad you enjoyed the show. Next was from Leshil. He says, I like the ZT0203, but I think the Kershaw Launch 21 is a better pickup. So basically, I'm going to just get both. And I have to say, Leshil, if no one has told you this, you are a knife junkie. And, well, I appreciate you, and we're all here for you on this journey. That's what a knife junkie is. You know, it's kind of like, I do like that 0203, but I like the Launch 21 better. So I better get both just to make sure I have my assessment correct. So thank you one and all for watching and commenting. I greatly appreciate it. Always love seeing you in the comments, and maybe you comment and you'll be mentioned next time. Also, don't forget to drop what you're carrying in the comments. All right, that said, let's get to what I'm carrying. Time for a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
A rare bird. I almost never carry this. Today I had my zero tolerance 0200, and that was in honor of the fact that last week we covered the new 0203, which is so nice. I might have to buy that at Blade Show. I don't know. I'm going to have to get a nice folder at Blade Show this year. I do every year. I get something swanky and then a bunch of cool little custom pieces. Pardon the throat clearing. But this is the one I had on me today, and I love it. This is a Ken Onion design. I don't carry it often because it is chunky. And if you look at it from this aspect, it's got a Coke bottle palm swell that way. It's got the beautiful ergonomics this way. Just an awesome blade. I love this blade shape so much. And this one with the those Kershaw teeth right in the recurve, very effective cutter, even though it's got a pretty oblique geometry. This one was a gift from my brother. It was the kind of gift where he showed it to me and I was like, oh, Vic, that's so cool. I love that. It's so cool. And he's like, just here, take it. You want it? And I was like, no, I couldn't possibly. And I ended up walking with it. So my brother is awesome. He's generous. He's given me all of these, not all of these, but like so many of my great historical pieces. And apparently he's got 3 more. He's like, I got your birthday present, I got Christmas, and I got your next birthday covered. And so he goes to a lot of cool gun shows and stuff like that and sees a lot of really, really cool stuff. So comparatively, I am a deadbeat. So thank you, Victor. I appreciate that. I love it. And it was great carrying it today. It reminded me of how much I love vintage ZT. And it looks like vintage ZT is back with that 203. All right, next up, in my left pocket, dangling on the dangler, I had the old Compact from Victorinox. This has become my favorite Victorinox, almost by half. I love this thing because it's got so many different tools in it. You got the scissors, you got the main blade, you've got this sort of do everything tool that'll open cans, it'll open bottles on the top, and then on the bottom you've got the hook. You've got a little file here. You've got the corkscrew and a screw driver thing in there. You've got a pen, toothpick, tweezers, a pin. You've got everything here, and it's only 2 layers thick. So this is definitely, if not my favorite Victorinox, it's my most carried. I love this thing. So I had this on me today. I knew that my glasses were coming loose. I don't wear them for the show because I'm so close to my screen, but I wear glasses all the time, and nothing bothers me more than the loosening temples. So I had this one on me today just to tighten up the temples, and it did a great job. Next up on me is the Agent 001. Yes, one of my favorite knives of all time. My collaboration with Tim Kell of TKell Knives. This one started the whole Agent series. He pretty much did the blade exactly as drawn and sent to him, but he tweaked the handle and perfected it and made it butter in the hands. I absolutely, well, I adore this knife so much, more than almost anything in my collection. And it's cool to see how it birthed an entire series. And I love that whole series. I can't wait to pick up a 007 by Tomas. And this one was on me, and I have to let you know they're coming out with a new run of the 001, which I'm very much looking forward to. Maybe I'll get a new one from this new run. I know who's making it. You know, he farms out different parts of the process to different makers, and I'm really looking forward to getting the new 001 in hand. I'll get one maybe with special scales. And I would love for all of you to get this. Now, you can get this knife if you're very concerned about the laws in your jurisdiction and you don't want a double edge. You can get this single edged, and it's almost as effective. Obviously, you can't be doing too much cutting with the back edge, but with the thrusting and all of the other things you would do with this knife, it is right on point because the swedge is so thin, you could practically rub it on the sidewalk and get a double edge. So Agent 001 on the way, a new batch. You can get yours if you don't have one already. And then next up in my bag today, my emotional support knife was the Steadfast from Work Tuff Gear. Just, man, such a great knife. You know, I'm sure you're not surprised, I've never used this, not for one thing, but except for cutting paper. It is incredibly wicked sharp. I know it's kind of billed as a do-everything field knife, but to me, it is way more of a fighting knife. It's got that long clip point with the swedge. It's a great thruster. Again, caveat in paper. Look at that relief. Look at the cutting edge. It is so tall. This thing is just incredibly sharp, and I love it. But I just kind of keep it around for the apocalypse, but haven't really used it for anything yet. But that's half of my knives, or more than half. Cal Van Richardson custom knives design. I love that beautiful crow maker's mark there. Steadfast, or I'm sorry, Work Tuff Gear is definitely one of my favorite fixed blade knife companies. They just keep coming out with amazing knives, and they're almost all collaborations, and they're basically handmade in Taiwan, so that they are very low in number. Each edition is low in number. So check them out. I'm going to check them out at Blade Show and see what they've got there. And I would love to get Victor or one of the fellows who does a lot of designing for them on the show. And I will do so in this coming year. That's what I had on me. The ZT0200, the Compact by Victorinox, the TKell Knives Agent 001, and the Steadfast by Work Tuff Gear. Let me know what you had. Drop it in the comments below. Also, if you want to help support the show, you can do so by going to Patreon. That gives us monetary support. You can also share the show. That's also a great way. Share the show. Get it spread out there far and wide with all of our friends or your friends like-minded, and that helps also. But you can scan the QR code on the screen right here, or go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and see what we have to offer in exchange for your monetary support. Again, that's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon.
The Shockwave Tactical Torch is your ultimate self-defense companion, featuring a powerful LED bulb that lasts 100,000 hours, a super sharp crenulated bezel, and a built-in stun gun delivering 4.5 million volts. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the Shockwave Tactical Torch. TheKnifeJunkie.com/shockwave.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. And now here's the Knife Junkie with the Knife Life News.
First up in Knife Life News, I want to talk about the product reveal number 18 from Spyderco. Spyderco, man, they make a lot of weird looking knives, but they're just so compelling. Some of the best with heat treat steel geometry, and that's knife making. So some of the best out there, period. First up in their product reveal number 18, I want to talk about the lightweight Shaman. Everyone loves the Shaman, and everyone tells me I should get the Shaman. Haven't had one, love them. Maybe this will get me in the door. This is the lightweight version, and what they do with the lightweight version is the FRN handles with the multi-directional texturing. This one has the compression lock, CTS BD1, which is a big one for the lightweight, big steel for the lightweight models here, Carpenter steel. And this one comes in at 4.8 ounces. So, you know, pretty lightweight, but it is a biggish knife. Looking forward to that. This one is even cooler in my estimation. This is the new Manix 2 XL. I love the Manix 2 XL. I love the shape. I love the handle. I love the whole thing. Used to have one, but sold it off. Well, this is the Manix 2 XL in the Salt series. There it is on screen. And with the Salt series, their whole deal, Salt, as the name implies, these are all meant for people living in very humid environments or people who work on the water, perhaps fishermen or people living in Louisiana. A beautiful rendition of this knife in G10. Now this has those radiating ripples coming from the center of the handle. This one has the ball lock as per usual and MagnaCut steel. MagnaCut steel and coated. Now MagnaCut is super corrosion resistant. That's why they've brought this in. It's sort of eclipsed LC200N in the end H2 in the Manix, in the Salt lineup. But they also coated it. So it's fully black, might be good for someone in the Coast Guard or something like that. Fully black or a Navy SEAL. But it's also coated. So that blade is good to go. It's never going to rust. Maybe never say never, but it's very unlikely for it to rust. Now, this is the most unique one from this drop so far. This is called the Cobalt. It is a really, look at that thing. That is extremely interesting. This is from Paul Alexander, a guy who's collaborated, a designer who's collaborated a few times with Spyderco Knives. But this one is a non-locking blade. It's got the double ball detent system in here. But unlike most knives of that description, it has a long blade, 3.6 inches of M390, hollow ground, Americanized Tanto there, with a small ceremonial opening hole, we'll call it. It's not an opening hole, but it's the round circular Spyderco hole. Tie handle and ball joint. So very different, interesting. Excuse me. Something like this you would expect to have a lock because it's big. It looks rather tactical to my eye, but it isn't. And I'm guessing you can front flip it just from the geometry of the blade tang there. But very interesting. This is the one that's been on all of the headlines. This is the one they've been showing off. Very cool knife. And by the way, the hole in the handle matches up with the ceremonial round opening hole on the blade. Cool thing. All right, going down to the Starmate. So this is they have 3 new sprint runs coming out. And this one here, this is the first, this is a redo or a redux of the very first ever collaboration knife with Spyderco, done with Bob Terzuola, the godfather of the modern tactical folder. The Starmate, I think this thing is beautiful. This is the one in the whole lineup that is the most tempting to me. At $337, I'll probably skip it, but it's got a 20 CV blade this time. So you've got the same G10 liner lock handle with the little Terzuola badge on the handle, as well as the maker's mark on the offside, on the clip side of the blade. But just a beautiful tactical piercing blade. Looks very, very Terzuola-esque. So they're coming back out with the StarMate. If you're a Spyderco fan or a Bob T fan, definitely get on this because they're not going to make too many of them. All right, that is the Spyderco product reveal number 18. Next up and last up in Knife Life news, a new one from BestTech. This one is the Taipan. Taipan, a deadly snake from Japan, I guess, or somewhere over in East Asia. We all know the Taipan is a Spyderco model. Now it's a BestTech model by Australian designer James Lowe. He's the guy who did the, what was that thing called? Oh, he did a cool one. Sorry, I can't remember what it was called, but it was cool. It had a real deep recurved Tanto by Kaiser. Anyway, oh, it was called the Huntsman. That's right, the Kaiser Huntsman. Okay, anyway, he did this one, and I'm really liking the look of it. It's a rather truncated Wharncliffe. So if you look at the blade, it is a Wharncliffe in that it's a full arc from the thumb ramp down to the flat edge that comes straight off the bottom of the handle. But the very tip looks kind of broken off, like maybe you had a true Wharncliffe and you did a little prying with it. 3.68 inches of Magna Cut. It's hollow ground and just a really cool design overall. Titanium handle scales, frame lock handle, and it's got these sort of radiating, what do you call them? Concentric circles coming off of the pivot. So it'll have great grip in all directions, no matter what you're doing. And I really love the profile of the handle as well. It looks like it'd be great in reverse grip, but since the tip of the knife is sort of chipped off there, might not do you any good to have it in reverse grip. Anyway, these, as we record this, are pre-order only, but they will be shipping late June. So that is the new BestTech Taipan by Australian designer James Lowe. All right, everybody, before we move on to the state of the collection, just want to let you know I will be at Blade Show. And if you're listening to this the day it drops, that's the day after tomorrow. Cannot wait. I'm really looking forward to it. I will be wandering around, looking at everything I can find, meeting as many people as possible. I love to press the flesh. I love meeting people. If this show has done nothing, it has gotten me out of any shell I may have been in. And yeah, so I will be meeting knife makers, checking out new knives, buying knives, and just generally being a man about town. So please, if you see me, come say hi and introduce yourself. Let me know who you are, because you see my face here, but I don't see your face. I see your names in the comments, and I see your names during Thursday Night Knives. But come say hello. I cannot wait. It's one of my favorite times of year. Blade Show and Christmas, you know, and luckily they're opposed on the calendar. So very much looking forward to it. Come say hi at Blade Show. All right, coming up, the state of the collection.
Adventure Delivered. Your monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor, survival, EDC, and other cool gear from our expert team of outdoor professionals. TheKnifeJunkie.com/battlebox.
First up, I got a package from Dirk Pinkerton. One of my favorite designers and knife makers out there, and a friend. I can call him a friend. Over the years, we've developed a nice little friendship here, and this is the first one from the box he sent me. You may recognize this knife because I showed it in prototype form, handmade by Dirk himself out of S60V steel and G Carta, Mexican blanket G Carta. Well, it's been picked up by Tenable Knives, the what do you want to call it? The budget brand. Budget isn't the right word, but the affordable brand from Kansept Knives. And this thing is awesome. Now it's in 14C28, and it's got a flat grind, beautiful modified sheep's foot blade here, about 2.5 inches long. It fits the hand like a dream, locks in. It's going to come in a couple of different colorways. It comes with a blackened blade with a dark green handle. I've seen Dave of OG Blade Reviews has one of those. This one, obviously, is the natural tan canvas micarta. There's Dirk's maker's mark right there. 14C28. And Siafu is an African army ant, so small, but small, but what's the word I'm looking for? Not deadly. Well, this is deadly, but small but potent. And that's what this knife is for sure. It's got a great run of jimping from above that top screw to the as far as my thumb reaches. This is a great utility and self-defense knife. And that's pretty much how Dirk designs all of his knives. They all have some sort of defensive capability. But this one is, and utility. This one comes with a great sheath. I've been dropping it in the pocket, though. Ulti clips or discrete carry Kansept clips or any clip you like will fit on that. But I've been just dropping it in my pocket. So really awesome knife in the Siafu. Next two are of the same family. This is a second run of the Dash. Beautiful little Kiradashi here. Also in natural tan canvas micarta, though it comes in other G10s and other variations. This is a small folding version of the classic Japanese utility knife Kiradashi. And so you can see it has a sort of chisel tip with the edge only on the front. So if you have your hand down, your finger down here on the bottom part of the blade, it won't get cut. This is a great, great knife. I love this little thing. I've been dropping this one in the pocket too. And loving it. It's a liner lock. It is really damn small and somewhat difficult to manipulate with my right hand. My left hand has no issues. It's got a thumb plate there and a nice big lanyard hole. And Dirk, listening to his fans and knife lovers here, they wanted something with a pocket clip and maybe something slightly larger. So he designed this, and this is also coming up from Kansept. It's the flipping version, the large dash. And the large dash is still a small knife. But man alive, does that blade, still with no edge on the bottom, but just on the front, it does dash out of that handle. How'd you like what I did there? This one has been claimed by my wife. She absolutely loves it. She loves the little one, but finds it hard to open. She found this very easy to open, and it will fit in her tiny jeans pockets too. She's petite and she's got girl jeans, and you know, girl jeans have very shallow pockets. This one will fit. It's small enough, and also when she grips it, and actually when I grip it too, and put my thumb on the top like this, it can be a nasty little self-defense knife in a pinch, as are all Pinkerton knives, as mentioned earlier. So this is the coming out soon Kansept large dash with the flipper. I love that flipper. So cool. This is taken directly from his inversion model, and it works great. It puts the point of contact with the finger in front of the pivot, and so when you pull back on it, it just rockets out. Such a cool knife. These are in, I think 150, pretty sure it's 154 cm on the two dashes. Last up, this one is coming from Dirk's private label. You know, Dirk is a custom knife maker, makes incredible fixed blade knives, and he also designs folders that he has OEM'd by awesome companies and then releases in limited edition. This is the new one, and it's his Feral. It's a folding version of his Feral fixed blade model. And look at this beauty. This, of course, is a folding TKell. This is a prototype, but this is what it's going to look like. I think he's zeroed in on the design. Beautiful feathered milling on that titanium frame lock handle. And then look at that absolutely spectacular Velociraptor style blade. Now, that's my description, but to me, that looks like a Velociraptor claw. The way it's positioned, the point goes midline, so that with a simple back fisting motion, you will get that point exactly on target without having to cant your wrist in any sort of way. Just an awesome self-defense knife. Now, like all of his knives, this one can be used, you know, in the warehouse to open up boxes and stuff like that. But really, its unique selling proposition is as a luxury defense knife. I say luxury because it's titanium And the steel, I can't remember what he said the steel is that he's going with, but it'll be something nice, some sort of a fancy special steel. I'm not sure when the pre-order opens for this. He said a bunch of them are going to be available in August, I believe. So keep your eyes peeled on PinkertonKnives.com for all pre-order information. All right, so these are the awesome knives sent to me by Dirk. Sorry. Also, always thought it was funny that Dirk Pinkerton, one of the best knife designers out there, first name is Dirk. Okay, next up from APOC Survival. They just sent me these super cool knives designed by Mike Wallace. He designed the Smatchet that I've been showing off, and he designed the Cold Steel Colossus, a knife that's no longer being made that I hope they bring back out. But these are the Puukkos. This is the small Puukko, and that's the large Puukko. Beautiful, non-tactical, because usually we're used to seeing sort of tactical fighting knives from Mike Wallace. These are survival knives and camping knives and backpacking knives. I'll call this one, the small Puukko, a backpacking knife. Puukko, of course, is a style of outdoors and do everything bushcraft knife that comes from the Nordic countries, the Northern European countries, I think Denmark, to be specific. But look at that cool angular handle. It feels so good in hand and looks interesting, looks cool. You've got a 3.5-inch blade here of 9260 high carbon steel. This one does not have a Scandi grind. It has a relief edge, but it's a saber ground. It mimics some of the qualities of a Scandinavian ground blade. Has that Puukko blade profile. And like I said, just melts in the hand with that contoured G10, micro milled contoured G10. So nice. And the spine will throw sparks off of this ferro rod. So here you've got, it comes with a small sized tech lock style nut, lock there, or clip, I should say. But it has a ferro rod here. You can see I've used it a little bit. And I have to be honest, I was like, oh, that doesn't feel like 90 degrees. Will it throw sparks? And yes, it will. Don't want to burn my mat. But yeah, it will throw sparks. You just have to get rid of some of that coating. So really, really nice knife. I'm loving that. I can't wait to use that around the fire pit. And hopefully I'll go camping this spring. We'll see. I do have the stuff now. But things are busy when you have kids. Next up is the large Puukko, also designed by Mike Wallace, also from APOC. You get a lot of the same things. You have a spine that'll throw sparks. You have a beautiful Puukko profiled blade with a saber grind and a relief edge. And then look at this handle. It looks angular, but man, is it comfortable. It feels so good in hand. This one has a lanyard hole on the pommel, so you can make sure you don't lose this when you're doing whatever activity you're doing out there. Again, same really nice pancake style Kydex sheath. And I forgot to show this off. It's got a sharpener on the edge. Both of them have a sharpener on the edge. So if you're in the field and you have any sort of issues and you need to sharpen it, you just I've seen that before on the Holtzman knives, and it's a feature I really like, and it works well. Haven't done it on this one, but I have on the Holtzman, and it works very well. All right, last up in this little lineup from APOC, they sent me the really unique and cool design from Andrew Demko. Look at this thing. This is called the Hybrid Rhino. Now that is a camping cleaver, if ever I have seen a camping cleaver. It's got a very sharp but stout bevel and edge, and it's got a downward angle to the blade, so whatever you're chopping, it's going to accelerate the cut with that angle. You've got a sweep in case you have to do any sort of food type stuff or skinning type stuff. I know you're not going to use this, but who knows? Maybe it's your only knife. And then it's got that weird looking spike on top. And I asked Patrick Shipley of APOC and Cass Iberia what that's all about. And I was like, oh, is that for braining someone, or is that for like, he's like, no, that's not a fighting feature, though it certainly could be used as such. But this is when you're splitting wood, splitting logs and that kind of thing. This is for spiking logs and dragging them towards you, because oftentimes you're splitting on your knees because you don't want to hit your legs, especially when you're using some sort of a swinging thing like this or a hatchet. So it's to pull stuff towards you or to move logs. I think that's so cool. So imagine you're sitting there and you're splitting, kindling, and then it's time to split the next log. You turn it over like this, reach out, bang, pull it towards you. So you're not getting up and standing up and kneeling down, standing up, kneeling down. So it's just a sort of utility spike. Though, if you're like me, you're also thinking, if a bear comes up, a badger, let's say a badger comes up on you and menaces you while you're doing this, and then you got badger for dinner. So really nice camping cleaver. You've got a really nice almost, hand and a half handle. You can come all the way back here, put a lanyard, and get some nice leverage for chopping. That's the APOC Survival Demco Hybrid Rhino. Very cool knife. I'll be doing a close-up of this one and the others. Very nice and useful sheath here. All right, before we get into 15 great USA-made folders, just want to show you the next in the lineup of cool designs by the one and only Jim, our producer here. Keep it sharp, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it sharp. We're coming up on a whole bunch of holiday weekends and that kind of thing. So every weekend is a holiday weekend in the summer, as far as I'm concerned. Have your apron for the grill or the griddle handy. Get your tote bag to get those groceries, and wear a cool shirt while you're doing that. Keep it sharp. You got 3 knives here. They're all kitchen. This is like a kitchen-themed motif, and I really love it. It's over at TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop, where you will find page after page of really cool knife-oriented designs designed by Jim himself. And it's a great way to show off your point of view and maybe meet like-minded people out there. So go check it out, TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop. All right, first off, in 15 great USA-made folders, why did I come up with this? Well, I've been carrying all USA-made folders recently. That's how I mostly do it anyway, but I had a recent road trip. I had the Microtech, and then since then, I've been carrying a bunch of Microtechs, and I love them. But first, we'll start off with the Demco AD20. We were just talking about Andrew Demko. This is a beauty. Now, this one here has 20 CV blade steel and a really great G10 handle. I love the color. This dark red is right up my alley. This is such a great knife. Now, this spawned into the AD20.5, the foreign-made AD20.5. And those are great. They're smaller, but this is exactly in my wheelhouse, with a 3.7-inch blade and that clip point profile. Really, really great with that shark lock handle. This has been their bread and butter for a number of years now, and it's no wonder. It's just a really great, super stout knife, and this would definitely be one of the ones I would grab in a grab and go situation. Gotta grab a knife and get out of town. This would definitely be in the top. Now, if you look at the pivot on the offside, you can see where it's made. Wampum, Pennsylvania. I've never been to Wampum, but I grew up in Ohio, and I drive through Pennsylvania at least a couple of times a year, and I love that state. It is so beautiful. It's beautiful and filled with cool people, including the Demko brothers, who make this awesome knife, the AD10. I'm sorry, AD20. It's twice the AD10. All right, next up from Massachusetts is the Three Rivers Manufacturing Atom. A beautiful, very slender 3.6-inch blade. This is also 20 CV blade steel. This one has the really nice black PVD coating. It in some light it just looks silver. In other lights you can see that it's black. Let me wipe that down. I hate it when there's schmutz on the blade. This, the unique selling proposition of this and many other of the Three Rivers manufacturing knives, most other, is that the scales are easily swappable without disassembling the knife. So all you have to do is undo that screw, and the whole thing comes off. The pivot is not a part of the scale swapping system, so you don't have to take the pivot out or any of that. So it's really easy to do. I've got a bunch of different scales, and I love them all, but this is my favorite. They do this sort of wing textured pattern, which might be hard to detect on camera with the burlap micarta here, but really, really nice, slender, beautiful, classy, slicey, awesome sharp knife, and great people up there, Marianne et al., making these knives. I look forward to seeing her at Blade Show this year. She's such a nice person, and man, does she make cool knives. So this is the Three Rivers Manufacturing Adam from Massachusetts. Next up from North Carolina is the American Blade Works Model 2. I've got the Model 1 version 5. I think he settled on the version 6 as the final, but that's a great thing about American Blade Works, is that they go through various iterations before designs are settled on, and they are always the ultimate version, the ultimate expression of that design. This one to me looks like something out of Art Deco American design from the 30s. I just think it's so beautiful, but it's also extremely slicey and sharp as hell. This is Magna Cut. This was my first Magna Cut blade, and it rockets out on those bearings. Titanium liner lock. And this is one of those knives, one of those few knives that looks just as beautiful closed as it does open. Now, if you've seen the American Blade Works slip joint, you'll know that it matches this knife beautifully. So they make a great traveling pair. This is a sheep's foot blade, and I love it. He also makes a Wharncliffe blade. That's Michael Martin. I keep saying he, but I haven't mentioned his name, Michael Martin. And as you can see on the pivot, it is made in the USA by one man in a garage, basically, or now it's a shop, I believe. Michael Martin in North Carolina. All right, next up, from the Pacific Northwest, Oregon to be specific, is the Benchmade Bug Out. Now, you don't see many Benchmades on this show. I'm not particularly psyched about them. Not that I dislike them, but their designs just don't really get me going too much. But this one does for sure. Some of their automatics, some of their other knives do, but this one is the one I've kept. It's the Benchmade Bug Out, and I absolutely love the Bug Out. Of course, I'm not crazy about the scales that it comes with, and this was from that original run. I got rid of the blue handle scales and got these micarta scales. Don't remember where I got them. I think Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and they are just great. They really make this thing way better. Keep it just as light, but they're a little more stout. You can still see they flex a tiny bit. And then I put a Snaggletooth Tactical MF on there. That is a pocket opener. This used to run in my winter jacket inside pocket, and I liked being able to just pull it out and have it open immediately. Give me your wallet, buddy. Oh, yeah, my wallet? You want my wallet? It's right here. And then I have a knife, which I can hand over because I'm not stupid. I'm not going to try and fight a guy with a gun with a knife. But anyway, I just like that the snaggletooth on this, it matches the standoffs, that beautiful blue, and it used to match the blue handle scales. This is S30V, which is just fine by me. And I know that there are other steels that are greater or whatever, but I love S30V. So I don't mind it at all. The only other Benchmade I've kept is my mini Griptilian with the AW, with the applied, whatever, with the AWC scales, I think they're called, aluminum scales. I like the small Benchmades, and I've kept them in my collection. All right, next up is from Spartan Blades, also out of North Carolina. This is the Spartan Harzy folder. And speaking of Oregon, Mr. Bill Harzy Jr., who designed this knife, is up in Oregon. The knife itself is made by Spartan Blades in North Carolina. And this is one of my absolute favorites. I'll keep saying that. They're all favorites of mine. But this one I love, especially means a lot to me that Curtis Iovito of Spartan Blades had me send this to him after I bought it, and he engraved my logo on it and on the flip on the what do you call that, filler tab for the clip. A beautiful design, so very signature Bill Harzy in profile, and just stout as the day is long. This has always reminded me of a combination of Chris Reeve knives in feel when you're opening it, Hinderer in the sort of construction of it, and a little bit of Strider in there too, I guess. The classics all come together right here in this knife, which is its own thing and definitely one of my favorites. Now, it's got a somewhat oblique grind, though I've gotten it so incredibly sharp. I've been toying around with the idea for years now of having this reground, but I don't know. What's the point? What am I really cutting that I need it reground anyway? So I'll probably just keep it as it came from the factory, but with that extra little bit of identification there with my logo. One thing I want to mention about this, it has that beautiful hydraulic feel on the open and close. And sometimes it's so smooth, I go to check to see if there's any blade play. And of course, no, it's a bank vault tight there. Just an awesome knife. I love this knife. If you don't have a Spartan Harzy folder or the smaller version at 3.25 inches, I highly suggest it's worth saving up for. Next up, we see ZT again. Now, I was carrying ZT today, but this was definitely had to be on my list of favorite American folders. This is the ZT0640, the last collaboration Zero Tolerance did with Ernest Emerson. This is based on a very old tactical design by him, and it is universally loved. It seems like everyone, whether they're into this kind of knife or not, tactical knife or not, loves this knife, and for good reason. It's just a beautiful design, feels great in hand, and was wonderfully executed by Zero Tolerance. Now they ship with this split pea soup color carbon fiber, basket weave carbon fiber, which I used to like, but I just don't like the pattern, that basket weave pattern. So the color I liked though, but in any case, I swapped it out for a pair of aftermarket scales that I think really make this great. Also, like most Emerson designs, this is an incidental front flipper, meaning you just use the forefinger or the thumb on the tang and you can get it to open up. Let's see if I can do it with my left hand. Oh, I can do it with my left hand. Look at that. Beautiful clip point design with that long clip. So this one is a fighter, but it's also just a super utility knife. 3.7 inches on that 20 CV blade steel. Love this thing. All right, next up from Chris Reeve Knives. This is the Umnumzan. And in this case, I got to open it with my right hand. It is the Tanto. I love this. I adore this knife. I got this from someone who used to show up to Thursday Night Knives, and now his name escapes me. But he was a good dude, and he took great care of this knife and put a wicked, wicked screaming edge on it. It is just so sharp. And something I love about this knife is that it's got the ceramic ball lock detent and interface. So the detent and I said ball lock. I didn't mean that. I meant the detent ball is ceramic, and it is both the detent and it is what makes contact with the blade tang. I think they may have adopted that. Sorry, I can't open it with my left. I think they may have adopted that on the new 31s, the Sebenza 31s, but I am unsure of that. Titanium scales, really beautiful. Has this lock popping up here. It looks like it should be uncomfortable, but it isn't. Feels so good in hand. You got a thumb swale on the back. The clip point version of this has a harpoon. I'm definitely not as fond of how that looks as I am of this. You have that, what is it, 20-inch grinding wheel hollow grind on this one. So it's a subtle hollow grind. And this is the one, Chris Reeve, that I saved. I only have two, but I saved the fob and kept the fob on this one. So yeah, love this one. And it came complete with snail trails from the gentleman I bought this from. I love Chris Reeve knives. These are Idaho made, and they even let you know right there, Idaho made. All right, next up, I'm not sure where these come from, actually. Strider, I think they might be North Carolina as well. But this is a Strider SMF, and this is the larger of the two, SNG and SMF. They have the same sort of profile, but this is the larger one. Now, you can tell it's an SMF if you're looking at pictures because it has 3 body screws across the top, whereas the SNG has 2. Sometimes it's just hard to tell in a photograph, but that's a good way to gauge. This one has that great sort of Nike swoosh of a sharpening choil, hollow ground on this one, and I got this one from Terrell Todd. You know, you may have remembered him as Zelric 23, Zelric 42. I can't remember what his handle was on YouTube, but he is one of the 2 Todd brothers who design knives now and do a lot of them through the reputable, awesome Chinese manufacturers. But for me, I love the Strider, but I don't need too many of them. I only have this one. I like the large size. I used to have the Protek Strider, and don't have that one anymore. Nick has that. Thanks, Nick. I'm glad it went to a good home. And sometimes I wish I still had it. But they're very interesting, unique knives. Way more comfortable when you're up here in the choil than back here. But I mean, if nothing else, I like having this just because it is considered one of the classic tactical folding knives here. Don't carry it often. I should carry it more. You've got a really, really nice buttery smooth opening. And unlike every other Strider, traditional regular frame lock Strider I've had, this one has no lock stick. So very cool knife and a classic. Speaking of classics and cool knives, this one is made in Colorado, Golden to be specific. This is the Spyderco Yojumbo, designed by Michael Janich. This is the larger brother, send up, if you will, of the Yojimbo and the Yojimbo 2. And it has this awesome compression lock. This is one of the biggest fidgety knives I have. That's a full 4 inches. It might be even more. It's so no. 3.75 inches. I'm sorry. It feels like a 4-incher. It's a big one. But you've got 3.75 inches of blade length and of cutting edge. You can see that cutting edge extends directly below the front of the handle. This one has a middle finger partition that I sanded down. Luckily, the steel liners didn't extend up into that middle finger partition. They also don't extend up into this sort of bookend here. So if you don't like that, you can sand that off too. I left it there just for surety of grip, but a great fighting knife. The Yojimbo, the Yojumbo, the Micro Jimbo, the very small version of this, are all designed for self-defense. Michael Janich is a big proponent of that straight edge because as you cut through something and your arm arcs and the motion is like this, the tip, the medium keeps getting pushed through that edge all the way to the tip. And as you come out of whatever you're cutting or slashing, that tip continues to cut. Almost like a hawkbill, oddly enough. But Obviously not. You got a thumb swale up here. You've got a thumb ramp back here, or a thumb placement here. Just a great knife. And in my opinion, it is less attractive than the Yojimbo 2, but a better knife because it's bigger, and I like bigger. All right, next up is from Hogue Knives. Hogue, the company that first started making grips for handguns, and they were doing that for 50 years before they started making knives. They did start making knives with collaborations, first up with Alan Elishewitz, still some of their most popular knives. And they've done other knives. They've done some OEM stuff, including for Doug Ritter. So you remember the old Ritter grip, the Ritter Griptilian, Doug Ritter's RSK knife, R standing for Ritter, S Survival, and K knife, was made by Benchmade for a long time, and people just called it the Ritter Griptilian, even though technically it wasn't a Griptilian, because it was Doug Ritter's blade, which is this blade shape, with whatever the state-of-the-art steel was at the time on the less expensive, cheaper to produce Griptilian handle. Well, eventually, after years, those were coveted, very limited and stuff. And then after some years, Benchmade said, we're no longer doing OEM work at all. And Doug Ritter, he's the guy who started Knife Rights, by the way, if you don't know. And every purchase of a Doug Ritter knife helps support Knife Rights. But he had to go find another OEM. He found Hogue, and man alive, did they do a great job. Now, this is the automatic that came out a few years after the regular Ritter RSK Mark I came out with the Axis style lock. Once that patent was released, once that patent was up, everyone started making it, including Hogue, and they called theirs the Able lock, the ambidextrous bar lock enhanced. And in my estimation, I thought it was better than a little bit better than the Benchmade. But that's neither here nor there. And they did a great job on that. And then recently, a couple of years ago, they started making this automatic with MagnaCut steel, CPM, MC, love that. And you've got that radiating sunburst pattern coming off the pivot that just makes this contoured G10 all the more grippy. You have an awesome button lock action here, super stout spring. Not sure where these are made. They're made in the USA, but not sure where. You've got an extra lock right there. I think these are in Utah. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that lock stops you from opening it and closing it. So I like that lock. Ordinarily, I don't go for locks on folders, but in this case, not a bad addition. And yes, I can one-handed close it. One thing about the Hogue version of the RSK Mark I is that they extended the handle ever so slightly. And to me, that makes a world of difference. Next up, from one of my favorite automatic producers, period, Protek. This is the TR3. I've got 3 Proteks, the TR2, the TR3, and the Rockeye by Les George. I love them all. This one to me is just so classic, though. I really love the TR4 design. This one has come out with a number of different scale options. Now it's even out in a non-automatic version. So a thumb stud with a button lock, which I wouldn't mind getting just to have. But what really turned me on to this knife, I always loved the design. But I remember seeing a video by a Navy SEAL who had one with the fish scale handles, which is really cool. And he lost it in the sand. I think it was on his own property. It wasn't like it was on deployment. But he found it years later, and it had sand in the works, and it was just, it looked pretty rough. But he hit the button once, popped right open, and, he washed it out with water or something like that, and it was always good to go after that. Protek is such a great company. They're really good people, and the knives they make are so robust. I just love it. Slaps open really, really nicely with authority, and that blade is excellent. You've got a swedge, a drop point. This one is 154 cm, and this is the SWAT version, meaning all black. They have they have an operator version of these knives too, where they have like a little tritium insert on the button. Which, I mean, let's face it, that's just to look cool. You're not going to be in the dark like, how do I open my knife? You're going to feel it and open it. You don't need the tritium, but it's a cool addition. No. All right, so that is the TR3 by Protek. And by the way, on mine, it doesn't have the grooves on the clip side, but those grooves on the show side really aid in grip. Really love them. Next up, made in Ohio, my home state, or the state I came from, born and raised. No, I wasn't born, but raised in Ohio. Okay, I'll get off that. But Ohio made in Shreve, Ohio, near Worcester, where my brother went to school. This is the XM24 by Rick Hinderer Knives. Of course, the XM18 is the most popular one because it's a more civilized size with a 3.5-inch blade, but I love my XM24s with a 4-inch blade. I have two of them. I have a first generation Bowie, and I believe this is a second generation Wharncliffe. So this is pre-tri-way pivot, but it's got such buttery smooth washer action. This one does not need the tri-way. Tri-way pivot is a cool option on Hinderers now for the last, I don't know, 8 years or 7 years, something like that. You get a Hinderer with the tri-way pivot. You can switch between Nylotron washers, which are what you have on this one, or phosphor bronze washers, or bearings. And I have one like that, and I've never switched out to the bearings. Switched out from the bearings. But on this one, just nice and smooth. I love the look of this blade, I got to say. The 4-inch length really allows that blade shape to express itself beautifully. Has an awesome stout build. Look at how those thick slabs. Titanium on both sides. One is a liner with the G10 on top, and then over here just a thick slab of titanium. Beautiful knife that pioneered the insert here. I'm sorry, the stop bar here, so that the over travel device, so you don't over flex the lock. You can switch the clip right side only. M390 blade steel, and then an awesome sound when it closes. I'll put it next to my mic, see if you can hear it. Ding! Has a great sound when it closes. That is the Hinderer XM24. Also, look for the Hinderer XM18. You'll love it. Next up, the first knife out there that was called a mid-tech, and this was pioneered by Les George, and this is a Les George Knives VSEP. This is from an early run of this knife by Monkey Edge. No, it doesn't have a frag pattern here, but doing a little research, this was released by Monkey Edge. This is not the original spoon-shaped clip. I took that off and put this one on. When I bought this from a gentleman in Singapore, he sent me both clips. I preferred the other. But this is an old model VSEP. It's got buttery smooth hydraulic, phosphor bronze washers action. A beautiful PVD coated blade in XHP steel, CTS XHP, and a gorgeous stone wash. Just a beautiful stone wash on this titanium handle. Something I love is how it's chamfered all around the lock bar, including in the center here. Really great knife. This one I've been carrying recently. I don't know, just been on my mind, so I've been carrying it a bit. It's got a wicked edge on it, done by a wicked edge, so just incredibly sharp, and not an edge I put on it, but the guy I bought it from did. I remember when this came out, they were calling this the Sebenza killer. And like I'm fond of saying, it didn't kill the Sebenza, but it was an addition to the family of incredible USA-made knives. Folders. All right, penultimate in this list is from Emerson Knives. I've got a nice collection of Emersons. This one is one of the two I have without an Emerson wave. You guys all know about the Emerson wave, so I won't wax poetic about that. We know what an amazing innovation it is. But this is my most recent Emerson, and one I've wanted for years and was just re-released. This was called the Persian. It is now called the P-Tact, a nearly 4-inch 154 cm blade of upswept nastiness. Chisel edge, double bevel ground here, and just a beautiful tactical knife. This was the preferred knife by famed Ed Calderon before he started using the before he started designing and making the Elvias and using those fruit knives. He used this, the Persian, the older version of this knife, on all of his sort of missions and deployments and such on the Mexican side of the U.S.-Mexican border. This thing has a long legacy of being coveted. People have wanted this knife for years. It was always hard to come by, and I'm really grateful they came back out with this and didn't really do any changes to it. They changed the name, basically. You got titanium liners, titanium liner lock, really nice standoffs on this one, and that beautiful upswept blade. I might change my carry today and pop this in my pocket. Love this thing. All right, last up from Microtech, my favorite knife of 2024. This is the Amphibian. So they started making the Amphibian with the ram lock. That's their ambidextrous bar lock style lock. Different in that it doesn't use Omega springs, but uses a coil spring. And it had a little bit of growing pains at the beginning, but by the time I got this, all of those were worked out. This is based on the 2006 model that was a Marfione exclusive from the factory in North Carolina. This is also USA made and made in North Carolina, but those other ones were a rather more custom, and very few of them were made. Everyone loved them, had that beautiful recurve blade with the huge swedge, and so very, very happy that Anthony Marfione brought this out of mothballs and made them available far and wide. And as far as really high-end American knives are concerned, he made these relatively affordable. Now, I don't know what's affordable for you. And in general, I don't spend $300 on folders, but when it was this one, I had to. I went for it. I love this knife so much. I highly recommend it, and I really like it with the serrations on that recurve. I talk about this a lot when I talk about Microtech, but their serrations, they do them right. It's like they make the serrations first and then grind in the plain edge. That leaves the teeth of the serrations proud of that main edge, and I really love it. This one sort of, just like the Emerson Commander, this one just captured my imagination with that recurve blade. And, so when I got this, I felt like I was going full circle to that first Emerson Commander I bought years and years ago. All right, thank you for joining me on my walk down memory lane with these great USA-made folders. I say memory lane because some of these are old for me, but almost all of them are still available. So if you like them, go out there, check them out. Also, a lot of these were gotten on the secondary market. So don't forget, you can find great knives on the secondary market. And if they're awesome, stout USA-made knives, they will be in great shape. All right, that's it for me. That's it for Jim, working his magic behind the switcher. Thanks, and be sure not to take dull for an answer.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, TheKnifeJunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at TheKnifeJunkie.com/YouTube. Check out some great knife photos on TheKnifeJunkie.com/Instagram, and join our Facebook group at TheKnifeJunkie.com/Facebook. And if you have a question or comment, email them to bob@TheKnifeJunkie.com or call our 24/7 listener line at 724-466-4487, and you may hear your comment or question answered on an upcoming episode of the Knife Junkie podcast.